Okay, welcome to Anatomy Coloring Book, page 81. This is Dr. Stephen Harkins. And our next lesson is on the cranial coverings, the meninges. More detail on the meninges, which we've previously discussed. Recall we discussed the Dura Mater, and I called it, Dura means tough, right? Mater means mother. The Dura is one, Mater is one tough mother. And the Dura Mater, of course, is this outer layer covering the brain, in between the skull, the cranial bone of the skull, and the brain. So here's the skin. Here's your skin. And here is your skull bone right here. And then inside is the brain. And we're going to expand on that. Again, here is the skin, scalp, the skull, skull bone, the bones of the skull. And going deeper, we're going to change colors here. The Dura Mater is going to be this light blue color here. Use whatever color you prefer. And here is the Dura Mater. Here's the outer layer called the periosteal layer of Dura Mater here. Right here. And here is the inner layer of the Dura Mater called the meningeal layer of Dura Mater. Just like so. Apologies for the drawing. Now, something to notice here. So this is the inner layer here of the Dura Mater, the meningeal layer, and the outer layer here, right? One thing to note the way the inner layer of Dura Mater, the meningeal layer, branches off right here and as at the area of the longitudinal cerebral fissure here that separates the brain into two cerebral hemispheres. Note the way it sort of invaginates inwardly, separating the two hemispheres and creating in the middle here, this area here called the superior sagittal sinus. Sinus is just a space. When the two layers of Dura Mater, the inner meningeal layers down here, meet, they join right here at a space. At this place where they join, this new layer of Dura Mater is called the falx cerebri. Falx cerebri. And a lot of these words you'll hear pronounced differently, by the way. Cerebri, cerebri. Any way is acceptable. You'll hear these words pronounced many, many different ways. Moving on to another layer, another meningeal layer called the Arachnoid Mater. And we have discussed this already. The Arachnoid Mater is this layer right in here. And it is the layer underneath the Dura Mater and above the Pia Mater, and recall what we called the subarachnoid space. Sub means below or under, like a submarine. Arachnoid means a spider. And note in the subarachnoid space, these, now we know why they call it arachnoid, because these cobweb-like, thin cobweb-like projections in the space below the arachnoid mater. Now these little projections, the outward projections of the arachnoid mater, are called villi. And of course, the innermost layer, directly connected, directly attached like saran wrap, attached to the cerebral cortex, is the Pia Mater. Pia Mater. So in review, our two layers of Dura Mater, our outer and inner layer, our periosteal and meningeal layer, periosteal, meningeal. Then our arachnoid mater with, of course, the subarachnoid space and these little cobweb-like fibrous material attaching to, of course, the Pia Mater. And just for reference here, of course, the area below the Pia Mater, this is the brain. This is your brain here. This is the cerebral cortex, the outer layer of your brain. So I'm looking at the brain right here. Here's your brain. Here's the cerebral cortex along the outside. And with the layers on top. The layers of meninges above. This is an explosion. Exploded view. This is the exploded view of this here. Now, the layers, the meningeal layers, do in fact surround the cerebellum as well, looking down here at the cerebellum, which is set deep into the posterior cranial fossa down here. And there are layers that separate, layers of meninges that separate the two cerebellar hemispheres as well, and surround it. It is called the tentorium cerebelli. The tentorium cerebelli. And there is a sheet of Dura Mater that also comes deep into the cerebelli and separates them, and it is called the falx cerebelli or cerebelli. In a similar way to the falx cerebri here, the cerebellum also has Dura Mater separating it and invaginating it and covering it and supporting it. And this completes page 81 of Anatomy Coloring Book. I'm Dr. Stephen Harkins. Until the next lesson.